Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by King of the Cage Interim Middleweight Champion, Josh Bryant. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing great, Mike.
Josh, you got a fight coming up at King of the Cage Unification this Saturday. As we're getting days out from the fight, what's training like right now? Is it basically just doing some light stuff and worrying about your weight right now?
Yeah, real light stuff. Nothing hard, nothing too crazy. Some light rolling, just to get a good sweat going every day. Some light at work. Just, maybe sweat off a couple pounds. The closer I am, the better, for the weight cut on Friday.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about your last fight with Shoney Carter, where you captured the interim belt. First, let's start out with, you were supposed to fight Sean Strickland, who's going to be your opponent this Saturday. You were supposed to fight him back in September. He pulled out, I think it was like 2 or 3 days before the fight. And Shoney Carter, he stepped up, became your new opponent. They put an interim title on the line. Walk me through the whole process of when they told you that you weren't going to be fighting Sean Strickland and they were planning on putting Shoney Carter in against you.
They called me and they're like, hey, Strickland's hurt, got staph or knee injury or something, right? And then they're like, possible replacement, Shoney Carter. So, I think about 2 seconds and I think about it and I'm like, well, Strickland's supposed to be a stand-up guy, Shoney's a stand-up guy. I've been training for a stand-up guy in camp. So it seemed like a pretty easy switch for me, I was ready to fight, so it was a pretty easy decision for me to make to accept that fight. And then Shoney came in, and I thanked him for, showing up and giving me a fight at least. You hate to go through 8 weeks of training camp and then not get to fight just because of an injury.
Now, talk to me a little bit about your game plan going into that fight, because immediately, right off the bat, once the ref said go, you immediately threw a combination, pushed him up against the fence, and got a big slam takedown in the beginning of the fight. Was that just basically your plan, is to get it to the ground as soon as possible?
It wasn't to get it to the ground, actually. I just can't fight my natural instincts to take big sound, to be honest. It was just to push him around the ring. He had a short camp, if at all, I know Shoney's taken a bunch of fights on late notice and taken a decision. Even though he's lost the decision, it's still to a decision. So I knew he was going to be in a little bit of shape, but I wanted to push his cardio, Anytime somebody accepts a fight on late notice, you want to test them. So I put him in some bad situations right off the bat. But, he's a veteran. I had him in a couple of neck cranks and chokes, and he didn't just tap and quit, He fought through them and survived the first round. So the idea was just to push him, just to be physical with him, and see how cheap he was, really.
Yeah, in that opening 2-3 minutes of the fight, you had him, like you said, some neck cranks in there. You also had a straight arm bar, something like that going on. A Kimura you also attempted. At one point late in the first round, you actually had it locked up, a rear naked choke or a neck crank, something where his hand looked like he was coming up ready to tap. I'm just curious, how tight was that? Did you think you were getting close to a finish?
You know what? I knew it was painful, but I also know that he's had a lot of fights. So for me, I didn't blow my load trying to get that finish, because to be honest, neck cranks suck, but they usually just give way to chokes. So I wasn't thinking that he was going to tap. I thought he was baiting me with his hand up, baiting me, not trying to tap, but just saying, oh yeah, go ahead and crank some more, blow your arms out, be worthless the next part of the round. I held on to it. It was tight, but it wasn't, I didn't think it was there.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely makes sense because he escaped like 2 seconds later after it looked like, he was going to tap, so.
Yeah, I definitely felt like it was him trying to play a wily veteran,
Yeah. Also, I noticed in that first round, you didn't really do that much ground and pound. There wasn't really that much striking on the ground. It was more just, getting dominant position and looking for a submission. Then, when you came out in the second round, there was a lot more striking on the ground. Was that something that your corner had told you after the end of the first round?
To be completely honest, the corner wanted me to strike more. But he was, good at position. Even though I was in a dominant position, I never had complete control in that first round. He kept trying to just take off just make it where anything I threw I was going to give position up. And, you know, you hate to get a takedown and lose position on something stupid like that. So, you know, I was content with looking for submission and staying on top, you know. The second round, though, I was able to get a position and keep it and really open up with some strikes.
And just talk us through the finish at the end of the fight.
So I get kind of like a back control, step off to the side, trap an arm with my other arm, my opposite arm, and I hit him with a couple good hammer fist khaki punches, you know. And then I felt like his posture went down on one of them. I felt like I really landed it clean. So of course I thought I hurt him. So I started just kind of hammering away and seeing how he reacted to it, you know, and he wasn't really defending very well. So I knew that he was going to step in and stop it. So I just continued to just chip away. So I stopped it.
I say this jokingly, of course, but what did you think of his wardrobe change from the first round to the second round?
To be completely honest, I was in the corner, my back was to him, talking to my guys, you know, about the next round. I turned around, and he's just wearing a man panty. And I was like, what's going on? The disgusting part is, there's the same panties he cut weight in and weighed in it. So it kind of threw me for a second. I wanted to laugh. I didn't, but I wanted to.
I see. And Josh, is this your first title bout? The interim King of the Cage bout?
No. This is my first one in King of the Cage.
Sure.
But I had another show called Freestyle Cage Fighting. That I won a 108-pound title on that. That had, I think, 1 or 2 title defenses.
I see.
But yeah, I'm excited about getting this opportunity.
Yeah. Now looking forward to this Saturday night, Sean Strickland, the King of the Cage Middleweight champion, your opponent, this unification bout. What are your thoughts about Sean Strickland as an opponent?
You know, I looked at his record. I didn't know anybody's name on his record. That doesn't necessarily mean much, but I feel like I'm the guy that he's going to fight, you know. I'm the biggest competition he's ever been against. So I kind of feel like I have nothing to prove. He needs to prove something. So, you know, I can relax. I'm at home. I can go in there and fight my fight, which is what I really like to do, you know. I don't like to game plan what they're going to do, you know. I just want to oppose my will, so to speak, and just take control of the fight, man, from opening bell to closing bell.
It's funny that you mentioned the part about you being his toughest test, because that's actually something that I had jotted down here. Just looking at his record and some guys that he's fought in the past. Really, the guys that he's fought in the past, you know, nobody has the credentials that you have. You know, big show experience, you know, a good record, fought some tough guys. This is really going to be a step up in competition for him. But I just want to ask you, what do you think your biggest advantage in this fight is? Do you think it's your experience? Do you think it's your ground game? You know, where do you think you have the advantage in this one?
You know, I haven't seen a whole lot of fights that he's been in, but the ones that I have seen, he just seems like an explosive guy looking to get you down in pounds. So, you know, ground, I'm very comfortable on the ground. You know, I go against anybody on the ground. So, obviously that's so comfortable there. My wrestling and my jiu-jitsu are tight. So, you know, my experience in the stand-up game as well, I think just gives me a little bit of an edge. He'll probably have some reach on me. He's a tall guy. But I'm used to that by now, you know. So I think he's explosive and dangerous. 9-0, lots of KOs. So, you know, I'm ready for it.
Has it made this training camp easier? Because you've already pretty much had one full training camp to try to get ready for him once before, and then, you know, a couple days before you were supposed to fight, he pulled out. Now you've had another training camp to get ready for him. Has this one been a little bit easier, having that first experience?
Hell no.
Oh, really?
Pretty much, you're training for the same guy twice. It's boring, you know. The first time, you know, you're trying to figure things out. The second time, same game plan, same style, you know. So it makes it easy, to be honest. It makes it easy. I don't have to think a lot, you know. Just game plan is already in place. Just jump back on the original game plan and go from there.
I'm just curious, who's going to be cornering you in this fight? Because David Heath, he was in your corner last time. He's going to be fighting on the same card as you. Who's going to be in your corner for this one?
Well, you know, Dave pretty much corners me on every fight that I'm in. So, before me. So he'll be able to corner me as long as he's, medically sound. If not, I have a whole team of guys that have, assisted him in cornering me before. So I feel confident they'll be able to help me in any situation.
Just looking at your record, you're obviously comfortable fighting in your hometown. You're undefeated in your hometown and undefeated in the state of Oklahoma. After you had beaten Shoney Carter to claim the interim title, you said that you didn't feel like you were the champion. You felt like the interim belt, it was just another belt, but it really didn't mean a whole lot. But, they're kind of treating you, like the champion. They're bringing, him to your hometown. How do you feel? Do you still feel like this interim thing doesn't really mean much?
It's not that the interim title doesn't mean anything. I don't want to take away from King of the Cage's belts. It's just not what it means to me. An interim title because a guy pulls out because he was injured, nobody wants to win a title like that, Nobody wants to be the interim champ because somebody was injured. So, it just has an asterisk by it, you know what I mean? And so, obviously you want to get it, you want to earn it the right way.
Were you surprised that he's able to come back? They would put an interim title, and now he's able to come back 2 months later. Were you surprised that they just didn't have you fight Shoney Carter, and then if you had won that fight, which you did, then they'd put you for the regular title? Were you surprised that they'd even, put the interim title with him being able to come back so soon?
To be honest, I was. I didn't know if that was a ploy, last-second ploy to try and sell out the arena or what. But, it speaks of the injury, It wasn't too bad. He had a full training camp this time, I guess. So, I don't know. I don't know what the idea behind him pulling out or, if he was really injured, man, I'm not trying to take away from that. I'm just, it's a strange way things have fallen.
And one last thing about fighting in your hometown. Fighting in your hometown, does that motivate you to put on a good show for the fans? Or is it just one of those things where, you don't have to travel, you don't have to go anywhere, you wake up in your own bed, and you just go to the fight, and it's just, a lot more of an easy process for you? What is it about fighting in your hometown that you've been able to have, this successful run?
Obviously there's some comfort level there. You don't have to go anywhere. You get all your food, everything that's in your house, You're sleeping in your own bed, as you said. It's your gym, your training with your people. There's no travel. It's a little easier. But I just go out there and I try to fight, man. I'm not trying to, hopefully people like the way I fight and they like the show that I put on, but I'm not going out there with the mindset of, I got to put a show on for my hometown. Honestly, there's a little pressure on me. It's all my friends and family. But I've done this enough that it's pretty much the norm for me,
Just curious, is that something that's worked into your contract that you'll fight in your hometown, or is that just a coincidence?
I think just my name locally is big enough that I can sell some tickets. And that's probably why it's in my hometown.
Oh, I see. Josh, you did a awesome job throughout Season 11 of The Ultimate Fighter. You went very deep into that competition. Then, tough 11 finale, you fought Kyle Noak. Didn't go the way I'm sure you had planned it was going to go, but, what did you learn from that fight? Because that is your only loss, and the old saying is you learn more from your losses than you do from your wins.
It's 100% right. It's the first fight that I've ever went into where I didn't follow the plan that I had in place, meaning I fought the way he wanted to fight, not the way I fight. And I got beat. I thought it was an early stop. He hurt me, but I wasn't unconscious or anything like that. I was still defending. I was trying to stand up. He was hitting me in the arm. Not take away from Kyle. He jumped all over me, which is what he should have done. But at the same time, I didn't take any damage when they stopped the fight. So, I just didn't fight smart. I didn't fight the way I normally fight. So, yeah, definitely you learn a lot from that, and you're able to take away from the loss and go, hey, this is what I did wrong. This is how I fix it. So I think you do become a stronger fighter. Now the UFC just needs to learn that just because you lose one doesn't mean you get cut.
Josh, this is a very important fight. It's a unification bout to determine, who the real middleweight champion for King of the Cage is. Sherdog had this as one of their top 10 fights for the month of December. Is this the biggest fight of your career, do you think?
Man, I think every fight's the biggest fight of your career. The next fight is the biggest fight of your career. So yeah, this is the biggest fight. Every win is precious in this sport. Every loss is detrimental to your survival. survival. So, yeah, man, I think it is, man. It's the biggest fight thus far.
Not looking past this fight at all, but I'm just curious, is your goal, is it to make it back to the UFC, or would you be happy, continuing with King of the Cage? Because we've seen a couple guys, Tony Lopez, Donald Sanchez, Abel Cullum, guys like that who've made a career out of fighting with King of the Cage. What's your end goal?
Man, you know what? I'm trying to fight, and I'm trying to make money doing it. So whoever will pay me is where I want to be. Obviously, you always want to get back to the big show. There's better money, better sponsors, stuff like that. But I'm content with fighting and winning, man. That's what I want to do. So I think I make enough noise. I'll attract some attention.
Mm-hmm. Because it seems like King of the Cage is taking pretty good care of you. 3 fights in 1 year. I mean, you can't really ask for anything better than that, right?
No, I agree, man. Yeah. 3 or 4 fights in a year is plenty. They spaced them out well. My opponents were good opponents, so yeah, man, I'm pretty happy with it.
Mm-hmm. Josh, with all the time that's been dedicated to getting ready for Sean Strickland, having these 2 training camps, and now this fight is happening, I'm sure you've played this fight in your head at least 1,000 times over and over again. How do you see the fight ending?
I would like to see the fight ending with a TKO, either standing or on the ground. It seems that if he gets in a bad situation, he bum rushes you and tries to take you down in a very aggressive manner. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. I feel like my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu and my control will help me push him into a bad spot and force him to make a mistake. And I'll be there to capitalize.
Mm-hmm. Josh, one thing I wanted to end on, I was on YouTube and I was looking for you, getting prepared for this interview, and I just noticed that there's all these videos of you leg kicking guys for leaving the tab at a bar. I've seen videos of you choking people out. Why is it every time you're applying one of your techniques there's a camera around? Is this something that your friends are obsessed with, or what is the whole deal behind this? I'm just curious.
Yeah, my friends have been obsessed with it. I'm also on a local radio station, 97.5 KMOD in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and so there a lot of those things are with them. So the choking people unconscious, that's kind of one of their things, These people wanted me to choke them or kick them.
Sure.
This wasn't my idea. I wasn't bullying anyone. If you watch the videos, you can see that I'm not like I'm going to hurt you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was all in good fun.
Yeah, definitely.
The leg kick situation, the guy walked the tab. We told him to pay the tab. He happened to be a friend of ours. He said, you know what, I'm an idiot. I got drunk. I left. I'll take a leg kick for it. And I was like, really? You want a leg kick for it? He's like, yeah. So, I kind of felt like he was saying that leg kicks don't hurt. So I let him have a leg kick, about half the normal power, and he definitely didn't think that it was a good idea. He doesn't want to do it again.
Yeah, you can definitely tell it's all in good fun. You can definitely see that the people that you're doing it to have agreed to this. I've also noticed that a lot of these videos are not exactly new. Is this something that's kind of out now? You don't really do that much anymore, or is it something that you still do, but it hasn't been captured on film?
You choke a couple people unconscious, and you leg kick somebody for walking a dab. People don't really want to have fun. They finally go, you're a little too hardcore. I'm like, you don't understand. They wanted me to do it.
Yeah, I see.
It's all in good fun.
Yeah, definitely. Josh, real quick before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you would like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
I'd like to say to the fans, man, I'm always pleased when I get letters in the mail or emails, or people are sending me Topps cards and they want me to sign them, man. I'm always glad to see that, and I'm happy to give back. So thanks to all the fans for all the support, man. I've got a few sponsors. The gym that I train at is called The Factory in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's my lifeline, all my training partners and everything like that. U.S. Shooting Academy, the Big Mad Morning Show. Those are pretty much my bread and butter sponsors here locally. So I'm glad to have them, and I think thanks everybody for the support.
Josh, thank you for taking the time to talk. I really appreciate it. Good luck this Saturday night against Sean Strickland at King of the Cage Unification.
I appreciate it, man. It's good talking to you.